Welcome to another GoldMine 101, our regular series of short presentations giving you hints and tips for getting the most out of GoldMine CRM. And in this session, I'm going to cover the Territory Realignment Wizard. Bit of a mouthful, but an easy way of, in GoldMine, reallocating accounts, customer records, contact records from one user to another user for whatever reason, and also outstanding activities and other related information as well. So hello, my name is Tim Wilmot and my company Wizard Systems. We're a specialist CRM system supplier, mainly helping out small and mid-sized organizations improve their sales, marketing and customer service activities through the use of simple and affordable software solutions like GoldMine. Now this session will be about 10 minutes or so in duration, just an overview of the Territory Realignment Wizard. There can be a lot to it as regards to preparation for it. So this is not meant to be in-depth training. My company, Wizard Systems, we offer lots of different help options. If you want to explore those with us, just get in touch with me or any other members of the team. Now, the audio part of the presentation is one way only. If you've got any questions, please type that or those or them into the question box on your meeting control panel. I'll do my best to answer those at the end. And also towards the end of this event, I'll give you an update on GoldMine product news as well to keep you in the loop. This call is being recorded as well. Afterwards, you will get an email from our system with a link to the recording that you can play back as many times as you want to. And it will be up on our YouTube channel as well. If you go to YouTube and do a search for Wizard Systems as a channel name, all one word, you'll find well over 100 GoldMine videos up there to tell you about all the other capabilities of the solution. Okay, so quick mention about Wizard Systems. We're a long-standing supplier of GoldMine, well over 3,000 implementations of GoldMine, and we provide a complete service around GoldMine. We actually supply the system, upgrades, integrations to other applications, any kind of training you want. Training is online right now because of COVID, but when we get back to our training center, we'll be offering off-site training and ongoing help desk support as well. Okay, Territory Realignment Wizard. So imagine the scenario or typical setup in a GoldMine system in that you've got a customer record here and it's allocated to a manager, a salesperson, whatever you call it. Also, on the pending tab, there may be outstanding activities for that user. So what happens if your territories change for however you've allocated leads to a salesperson, whether it be on the location, what type of product they're interested in, the size of the account. There may be different criteria where you allocate them, and you can do this automatically, by the way, in GoldMine. So when you put this information into GoldMine about the profiling and category information or the location of that client, GoldMine can automatically allocate the manager to that account. But what if things change? What if you move territories around? What if after the furlough you are adjusting your employee staffing levels and you need to readjust who looks after your customers, or you split territories and you have to reallocate them to two different people? Well, welcome to the Territory Realignment Wizard, a really easy way of getting GoldMine to basically do everything automatically for you. So to access the Territory Realignment Wizard, it's actually within the data management section on your tools menu in GoldMine Data Management. There's a whole host of different things there for moving and shaking and changing data around GoldMine. But this is it, the Territory Realignment Wizard. Now, by default, what comes up is a very, very important message, because what we're doing here is we're changing the data in GoldMine. It can't be undone. So you must make sure that you've got a backup and you've verified the backup of that GoldMine, because you can't undo what you're about to do. And this is not just GoldMine. This is pretty much any database application. When you change a record, it's committed to the system. That's it. It's done. You can't go back, and if you made a mistake or spotted an error, you can't go back. So you must please make sure you've got a backup here. And if you don't want to be reminded, you can. It's only tick that little checkbox there just to remove that from future operations. So welcome to the Territory Realignment Wizard. A little bit of a opening orientation about what this does to basically, when you're reallocating territories, reallocating them from one user to another. And it's all synchronization aware as well. So if you are using if you've got connected to other GoldMine installations or remote laptops, this will all filter out to them as well and remove records from their laptop if they're not entitled to see them. So, step one. Now, by default, this operation will operate on the whole database. Quite typically, you're going to restrict that to a group or a filter that you previously defined. So you must be familiar with the ability to create groups and or filters in GoldMine, because we're now going to be drilling down. We're only going to be doing this operation on those contact records that meet that criteria within that group. Next. Step two. Right. We've got a field here, manager. We want to replace that with a different person. So this will be a typical scenario. We're replacing Peter with somebody else. So I select my relevant field for that, which is called manager, key 5. What am I going to replace it with? So it knows in that F2 lookup list what are the typical entries for that particular entry. There are other fields that I can replace as well in this operation, together with the record ownership as well, where it's on that third option there where it says public. By default, all records are public. Anyone can see them. Potentially anyone can edit them, but you can, with GoldMine, ring fence these records so that only certain users can see these records. It's called record ownership. We have covered that on previous 101 sessions. Most likely run it again just to refresh you. If you are running sales teams and you do want to hide records from team A to team B, that's record ownership built into GoldMine. Anyway, next. So this is where we can now reassign the activities against this record. So in my example, I've got an outstanding, it might be a phone call, it might be an action, we might be following up a quote or something like that. Peter is no longer handling this customer, so it would be no longer appropriate for him or her to manage any outstanding activities. So this is where we can then reallocate them to another user. We can also fine-tune the date range as well. So if for any reason you just wanted to home in on a date range, or you wanted to exclude really old activities, for example, that would be it there. And then finally, all these checkboxes, these are all of the different types of activities that GoldMine manages. So typically it would be certainly calls, maybe emails, next actions, possibly cases if you're using this for service management. Not so sure about appointments. You might have done something else with the reallocation of appointments. But there's all the other different activity types there that you've got against that record or in the GoldMine system. We can also reassign unlinked activities as well. So Peter may have an activity with an unlinked contact record, we can manage those as well. Click next, and you just hit finish. And in the background, that would change all of those records. It's going to change the manager field from one to the other, and all of the pending activities as well. So that's it. The Territory Realignment Wizard, very simple to do, very clever in what it's doing, but you must make sure that you've got a backup before proceeding going through that, as indeed you should do with any of the other data management operations that you saw in that menu. So, as we normally do on our weekly sessions, if you've got any questions around this, or indeed any other GoldMine question, just before I give you an update on GoldMine news, please type that into the question box on your meeting control panel. So question from Leon: I've used Global Replace before, I guess this is better. Yeah, when Global Replace is similar, but a lightweight version of this. Territory Realignment is going to do what Global Replace did do if you were using it for changing the ownership from one person to another. But this is doing something more fundamental, and it's also making sure that you're reallocating the outstanding activities from user A to user B for whatever reason. So yes, this is better. Claudia, can I restrict user access to this function? Yes, of course you can. When you set up users in GoldMine, this would be a typical thing that you would disable from your ordinary users. Typically, this would only be an administrator or the administrators of the GoldMine system or a master user that might do this particular operation. So hopefully that answers your question, and please make sure that you've done a backup. But we have had instances in the past where some customers have dived into this function and not taken the appropriate backup, and they call our support and we have to try and help them out. So please make sure that you do a backup there. Okay, don't think there's any more questions coming through. Just to bring you up to date then with any latest news. Right now, we're still providing online GoldMine training. So whatever the topic in GoldMine, whatever the scope, we can offer training for half an hour, 2 hours online, whatever the topic, whatever your location, please let us know. Hopefully you caught our bulletin in the week, and it's up on our GoldMine blog as well. But we do have now available the latest release of GoldMine 2020.1. Now, this release is important because it's got the required update to email security, along with some other secure connection and password management enhancements. So if you use an external mail host, you'll need this release to enable you to use the more secure OAuth protocol as adopted by Microsoft, Office 365 and Google. For example, they've all set their deadlines now later in 2020 to implement these changes. So you must upgrade if you're using those systems. Please check with our support team to check the appropriateness of this upgrade for you, but I'm sure it will affect most of our GoldMine users out there. So that's the latest release, 2020.1. More information on our GoldMine blog, and we sent out an email last week about that and how to get that update. There is also running right now through to the end of September. If you've been off maintenance for more than 3 years, there's a special offer. You can save a lot of money by coming back onto maintenance and taking advantage of latest GoldMine releases, GoldMine Connect, GoldMine Web, all the other Outlook improvements, and 2020.1 as well. So make sure you get back on maintenance contact Wizard systems or myself for more information on that and pricing. Dead simple though to get back onto maintenance. So that's me done for this week's 101 session on the Territory Realignment Wizard. If you've got any suggestions for future topics, please email me, tim@wizard-systems.com. So my name is Tim Wilmot. There's our other contact details and different ways of connecting with us. But take a look at our YouTube channel, Wizard Systems, for all of the other GoldMine tutorial videos that we've done. Thanks very much for your time. Those watching live especially, thank you, and we'll speak to you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.